Hello everyone, my name is Dan Draper and welcome to this week's episode of Level Up Chips. With the collegiate season of Overwatch starting this past weekend, CMU had a mixed bag of results. The Academy team suffered a 0-2 loss to Widener University, but they're hoping to bounce back next week. On the other hand, the varsity team had a pretty good start to their season with a 2-0 win over the University of New Haven Blue, so let's hope that the team can keep this momentum going forward. Now prepare for some talk about Smash Bros because there's going to be a lot of it this episode. CMU Smash is finally back from the long weekend at Frostbite 2020, myself included. I just put out a recap video for Frostbite actually, so make sure you check that out as well. This week, however, CMU hosted their weekly tournament Central Michigan Proving Grounds number 123 this past week. This week's tournament was a little bit smaller with only 29 entrants, which really isn't that surprising considering many members had just got back a couple days before from Frostbite. This week's top 3 included Superhero at first, Mystic in second, and Mirror Man in third place. And for more bracket information, you can check out the link at the bottom of the screen. Now for some post-tournament reflection on this past weekend, let's jump into this week's segment of Discord Discourse with CMU Smash's CJ Russell. Thank you for joining me today, CJ.
Absolutely, my pleasure as always.
So, obviously, Frostbite was this last weekend. How'd you enjoy the event overall, would you say?
You know, I actually didn't get to go as long as the other CMU fellas, but I was there from Friday night through Saturday night, and it was awesome. Very good major experience.
So what was your favorite memory then, would you say, this year?
This year is totally either cheering on CMU players, a couple of people in particular. We had Bot2K and Carl Superhero, and watched a couple of their rounds. It was really exciting. Otherwise, other than that, it was definitely, I got to play against, I would consider the best Nest player in the world. His tag is literally best Nest, but he was one of my bracket opponents on the winner side of bracket, and I got to just get absolutely destroyed by him.
So that was some of your favorite parts then. What were your favorite sets from the weekend? It could be one that you played in, the one that you saw on stream.
Oh man, totally Toast versus Light. Not CMU related, but Midwest related. Toast, I want to say, is in Ohio these days. He's a young Link player. He played against the best Fox in the world, and it was just explosive on all sides. It was super awesome that Toast won the set. We got Midwest representation. But even if Light had won, it would have been an awesome set regardless. Who else did he beat? Did he beat Sam Sora, I think, too? That was also a highlight.
He beat Sam Sora, and he beat Kameme.
Oh my gosh. That is crazy.
Just one more question. What sets apart Frostbite as a major? For players like us who aren't exactly the best at the game, but at a collegiate or a local level, what does a big major like this mean to players like us?
I think a lot of it is experience, There's a lot of camaraderie when you go to a big event like this because CMU cheers on CMU. When we're at CMU local tournaments, it's a little bit different because we're trying to root for ourselves, we want ourselves to do the best that we can. But when you go to a big event like this, it's always about cheering on your college, other Michigan colleges, Michigan University, just players in general. It's all about the community, which is really cool because you don't always get to see that when you're at these smaller tournaments because again, it's really more about who you're playing against, right? And then in terms of that, other than that, we get 2 big tournaments out of the year for Michigan. We get Frostbite and we get the Big House. And the Big House is cool except for the fact that, well, not except for the fact, it's also cool because Big House is mostly melee focused, whereas Frostbite is just ultimate focused. And so what that means is when we go to Frostbite, it is all about our game, which is really cool because everything is catered to us. Instead of having to do both melee and ultimate, which it usually focuses more on melee. So for us, we get to have this big giant experience and it is so much fun. You get to meet so many different players, and again, it's all about the camaraderie.
Nice. Well, thank you very much, CJ. I really, really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right. Well,
my pleasure.
You have a great rest of your day, man.
Hey, you too.
All right. See ya. To stay on the Frostbite train, let's talk about how the tournament ended up shaking out. Frostbite had many upsets throughout the weekend, but a couple stood out in particular. The first player to throw a wrench into bracket this weekend was Toast. Toast is a young Link from the Midwest, and this past weekend he made waves throughout the tournament. He upset not one, not two, but 3 different PGR players to nail his spot in the top 8. He managed to beat Kameme, Light, and then ranked number 2, Sam Sora. Beating all 3 of those players is no easy feat, so Toast can definitely say that he earned his top 8 placement this past weekend. More notably, however, was MKLeo's 3-0 loss to Prodigy. MKLeo is the undisputed number 1 ranked player at the moment, as he has been for the last 2 PGR seasons. So, when Leo got knocked into Luce's bracket in top 96, many players were worried that we weren't even going to see him in top 24. Despite all that, however, MKLeo continued his clutch streak, winning 10 straight matches to reset Grand Finals and then win the tournament. So, the question continues to be going forward, not who can take his number 1 spot, but who can even beat MKLeo at a tournament. And now it is time for this week's clip of the week.
Someone clip that.
This week's clip comes from CMU Rocket League's Useless and an impressive ceiling shot. And that's going to do it for this week's episode of Level Up Chips. Make sure you tune in every week for new episodes, as we have one coming out every Friday. And also make sure that you subscribe to CM Life for more content.